The theater lights of America's Got Talent burned brighter than ever that night. The audience buzzed with the usual mix of excitement and curiosity. Season 20 had already seen its fair share of jaw-dropping acts, fire dancers from Brazil, a 7-year-old ventriloquist, even a magician who made a car disappear on stage, but nothing could have prepared them for what was about to happen. Simon Cowell sat back, expression unreadable. Beside him, Sofia Vergara sipped water, laughing about something Howie Mandel had said. Heidi Klum adjusted her microphone and smiled toward the stage as the next contestant stepped forward. He was a young man, maybe 22, with dark brown skin, black slicked back hair, and a smile that was both shy and magnetic. He wore a simple white shirt tucked into black pants, a leather jacket draped over his shoulders like an echo of a long-gone era. The name displayed on the screen behind him read, Elijah Cruz, Manila, Philippines. "Hello," Sofia greeted him warmly. "What's your name, and what do you do?" Elijah gripped the microphone, his voice steady but soft. "My name is Elijah, I'm from the Philippines, and I sing." Simon leaned forward. "What are you going to sing tonight, Elijah?" Elijah's lips curved into a faint smile. "A song by the king himself, Elvis Presley." There was a ripple of laughter and surprise from the audience. Another Elvis impersonator. They'd seen hundreds over the years, some good, most forgettable. But Elijah didn't seem like an impersonator. He wasn't trying to imitate anyone. There was a stillness about him, a quiet confidence that felt almost eerie. "All right," Simon said, "whenever you're ready." The music began, soft, twanging guitar chords that carried the unmistakable melody of "Can't Help Falling in Love." And then Elijah sang. The first note pierced the silence like a blade dipped in honey. It wasn't mimicry, it was resurrection. The rich baritone, the soulful ache, the soft tremble that Elvis himself carried, it was all there. The theater seemed to lose its air for a moment. People stopped breathing. Simon's eyes widened as if he'd heard a ghost. Elijah closed his eyes as he sang, his voice deepening into the verse, every syllable wrapped in emotion that felt too real, too lived in for someone so young. The camera panned across the crowd. People were already crying, clutching their chests, whispering to each other. When he reached the final line, "I can't help falling in love with you," the last note hung in the air like a blessing. Then, silence. The audience erupted in applause, rising to their feet, screaming his name. The judges stood too, Heidi with tears on her cheeks, Sofia clapping wildly, Howie grinning in disbelief. Simon didn't move at first. His eyes stayed on Elijah, his hand over his mouth. Finally, he said quietly, "That didn't sound like an imitation. That sounded like him." The crowd murmured in agreement. "Who taught you to sing like that?" Simon asked. Elijah looked down, smiling. "No one. I've been singing Elvis songs since I was a kid. My grandmother used to play his records every day. She said his songs made her believe love could survive anything." "Your grandmother must be very proud of you," Heidi said softly. Elijah hesitated, eyes glistening. "She passed away last year. She always said Elvis's soul would live on in the hearts of people who truly understood him. I guess, tonight, I just wanted to make her feel that." The crowd went quiet again. Simon leaned forward. "Elijah, I've been in this business a long time. I've heard thousands of singers. But what I just heard, there was something spiritual about it. Like for a moment, we weren't just listening to music. We were transported." The audience roared again, and all 4 judges gave him a standing ovation. He advanced to the next round with 4 yeses. When the episode aired, social media exploded. Within hours, clips of Elijah's performance hit tens of millions of views. Comments flooded in from all over the world. "Greater than, he's not imitating Elvis. He's channeling him. Goosebumps from start to finish. This gave me chills. Elvis lives through this kid." Elijah's phone lit up with interview requests, collaboration offers, and messages from strangers thanking him for bringing back something they thought was gone forever. But the fame didn't seem to change him. He stayed humble, soft-spoken, and always carried a small photo of his grandmother in his jacket pocket. When he returned for the semifinals, the theater was packed beyond capacity. Even fans in Elvis-era outfits filled the crowd. The producers could feel it, something extraordinary was about to happen. This time, Elijah didn't choose a typical Elvis hit. He picked a song few expected, "If I Can Dream." Before he sang, he told the judges, this song meant a lot to Elvis. He sang it after losing someone he loved, and after losing hope in humanity. I think it still matters today. The orchestra began. From the first note, Elijah's voice soared, not as a copy, but as a continuation. His tone carried fire and grief, faith and defiance. The lyrics spoke of dreaming of a better land, where all men could walk hand in hand. As he sang, the lights behind him formed a golden silhouette, unintentionally shaping a figure that looked eerily like Elvis himself, standing in a beam of light. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Simon turned to the producer's table, eyes wide, whispering, "Are they doing that on purpose?" But no one was. The lights weren't programmed for that effect. It was a coincidence, or something else. When Elijah hit the final note, his voice cracked, not from weakness, but from emotion so real it felt ancient. Tears streamed down his face as he sang, "While I can dream, please let my dream come true, right now." The moment he finished, the audience exploded again. People screamed, cried, hugged strangers beside them. Simon pressed the golden buzzer. Gold confetti rained down as Elijah fell to his knees, overwhelmed. Simon walked up to the stage, a rare move, and shook his hand. "Elijah," Simon said, his voice trembling. "You didn't just sing, you connected us to something beyond music. I don't know what it was, but I felt it." Elijah smiled through tears. "I think Elvis just wanted to sing one more time." The next morning, every entertainment network in America was talking about him. Filipino Elvis reborn. Read one headline. "The Spirit of the King returns on AGT," said another. Conspiracy videos popped up, analyzing the shadow that appeared behind Elijah during his semifinals performance. Psychics claimed they felt a surge of energy that night, like the echo of a soul-finding piece. But Elijah never entertained the talk. He kept rehearsing, kept singing, and often visited a small church near the studio to light a candle before each performance. When the finals arrived, anticipation was at its peak. The AGT stage had never felt so charged with mystery and emotion. For his final act, Elijah chose a medley of Elvis songs, "Love Me Tender," "Suspicious Minds," and "Unchained Melody." He told the judges, "These songs are about love, loss, and faith. And I believe love never dies." As he began, his voice was softer than before, more intimate. The lights dimmed to a blue glow. Every note seemed to carry history, pain, and beauty. Halfway through, the orchestra faded, leaving just his voice and a single guitar. Then, without warning, the lights flickered. The giant screen behind him glitched, then flashed an image of Elvis Presley during his 1968 comeback special. It wasn't part of the show. The crew hadn't programmed it. But the timing was perfect, down to the millisecond. The audience gasped. Elijah didn't notice. He kept singing, tears falling freely as if he felt something guiding him. By the time he reached "Unchained Melody," the crowd was no longer clapping or shouting. They were silent, reverent, like they were witnessing a prayer. He ended with his hands over his heart. The stage went dark. Then, suddenly, the image of Elvis flickered again, this time smiling. And as the screen faded, a single light beam fell on Elijah, illuminating the cross he wore around his neck. Simon, voice breaking, whispered into his mic, "Elvis would be proud." The crowd erupted, chanting his name. "Elijah, Elijah, Elijah, .. He didn't win America's Got Talent that season. A dance troupe took the trophy. But it didn't matter. Elijah's videos became the most viewed AGT performances of all time, crossing 500 million views within weeks. He was invited to Graceland by Elvis Presley's estate. There, in the meditation garden, where Elvis was buried, Elijah performed one final song, "Can't Help Falling in Love." As his voice drifted through the humid Tennessee air, a gentle wind picked up. The trees swayed, the candles flickered, and for a moment, everyone there, fans, staff, even the Presley family, swore they felt a presence. After the final note, Elijah whispered, "Thank you." One of Elvis's old sound engineers, a gray-haired man who had recorded sessions at Sun Records decades ago, walked up to him afterward and said quietly, "Kid, I worked with the king himself. I never thought I'd hear that voice again. You didn't just sing his songs, you gave him peace." Elijah smiled, tears glimmering. "I think he gave me peace." Months later, Elijah returned home to Manila. The world still called him the Filipino Elvis, but he never tried to profit off it. He sang in orphanages, hospitals, and churches, places where music still healed. One evening, he sat on the roof of his grandmother's old house, guitar on his lap. The Manila skyline twinkled in the distance. He strummed a few chords, humming softly. A breeze passed through, carrying the faintest scent of roses, his grandmother's favorite. And then he heard it. A faint voice, warm and distant, humming the harmony to his song. He smiled, eyes closed. "Good night, King." Some say the voice was imagination. Others say Elvis's soul finally found rest through a boy from Manila who carried his music with sincerity, not imitation. Whatever it was, the world agreed on one thing. For a few shining moments on a television stage, the spirit of Elvis Presley had returned, not to relive fame, but to remind the world that true music, true soul, never dies. And somewhere, deep in the stars, maybe Elvis was smiling too.